you're sitting in the, it's like that meme of sitting, they don't know that they're actually all wrong, because I've arrived at a truth that's philosophically true according to propositional logic, but the actual real world where people are actually existing and living, they're all wrong and I'm right. I'm like,
how
I
do
fundamentally
you know
reject
that they're all wrong or right? That's the question.
This perspective, this is the basic kind of perspective of skepticism, basically. It's basically like...
It's the opposite. It's the perspective of... it's the perspective of your theology. There's an unchanging truth. Its name is God. This God has unchanging values. This God has an unchanging nature.
That is the pagan God of philosophy, not the God of the Abrahamic tradition.
I'm sorry, I thought your God had an unchanging nature.
The pagan God of philosophy is trying to, it's an idol of the mind. It's trying to find
no God of philosophy.
It's trying to, yes, it is. It's the God of philosophy that the monad that was worshipped by Plato and Aristotle and all of the kind of
You mean the people who question the gods?
The people for whom they needed an idol of the mind in order, because they reduced all reality to the form of philosophy, like you're doing basically, and they said, okay, we need an unchanging standard to which to hold ourselves, or else nothing is real and nothing is existing.
How do you know what's true?
Jesus Christ, and every single prophet in the Bible was not a philosopher. They weren't philosophers. They never formulated them. When did they ever formulate?
Philosophy is a form of poetry.
Name a single prophet in the Bible who made a single philosophical argument ever.
I would say that almost all of the arguments of Jesus Christ...
No, they did. They spoke in
I'm trying to answer the question. Let me answer it.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ himself spoke in parables, but all of these parables were in the form of logic. Or else you couldn't even communicate. First of all, you couldn't even communicate the idea, absent the logic of the idea. Hang on.
Yeah.
Let me finish. All parables are actually set in logical form, and they all have logical premises which can be expressed mathematically through the teachings of Jesus Christ. Also, Haz, the ultimate here is to ask you this. If Islamic people, like yourself, can know what is true, you can only base that on God's nature. And God's nature is unchanging.
Hold on. This is something I find ridiculous.
Go ahead.
Prophets in history had a revealed message that they gave to the masses, to the most illiterate, uneducated people you can think of, the people who had no philosophical literacy at all.
Which is why they didn't teach philosophically.
And meanwhile, philosophers sitting in their ivory towers, who are often allied with the establishment and with the ruling powers, oftentimes oppose these prophets.
They were often killed by the ruling powers.
So here's the problem I have.
I'm sorry, was Socrates in alliance with the ruling power, or was he killed by the ruling power?
You are attributing to the merits of the revelatory tradition, you're attributing that to the strict form of propositional logic and philosophy. I contest that. I contest that philosophy was a factor in the divinely revealed messages of the prophets in the Bible.
Then what are you arguing?
I don't need philosophy to participate in reality.
But you agree that that was part of the divinely revealed message?
Philosophy?
Yeah. That's what you just said that, Haz.
I just said that I don't agree that you can nail their message on the cross of philosophy.
But you agree that philosophy was in their message?
No.
Then why did you just say
only
you did?
Ad hoc, only afterwards, when I take their message and attempt to dissect it in a philosophical manner, does it become philosophical. But I'm being presumptuous if I'm doing that. I'm making the assumption that these prophets are trying to prove the self-relation of a stagnant idea or ideal or concept. What justifies that assumption? When the prophets are talking and giving their messages to the masses, what right do you have to assume that they're presuming the self-same consistency of a static idol of the mind?
I'll tell you.
What if the shit that they were saying just made sense to people on an intuitive level, even if it doesn't make sense to the logicians?
And just so I'll have Andrew answer this, and we'll go closing statements, and we'll have go into talk to the people here a bit, and then we'll close out. So go ahead, Andrew. Then we'll have you guys do closing
I'll even concede
statements.
that could be a possibility, but you have to test the possibility. And you're going to have to test the possibility logically, even if it's intuitive logic, Haz. When you say people intuitively come to this thing, I even agree with that. They use intuitive logic. Logic and reason itself is intuitive. The way in which you engage with all of reality is logical and generally reasonable, or you couldn't engage with it. So when you say, it's appealing to their intuition of what? What is logical and with what is within the possibility of reason?
I think I disagree. I don't agree that meaningfulness is the self-relation of concepts or ideas.
I'm not talking about meaning.
Well, I think
I'm talking about engaging with reality requires reason.
Even if a message is meaningful,
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be logical. In fact,
but it does need to be
what we
reasonable,
call-
or else it can't be intuitive.
well, if we define reason as formal logic, then no, meaning is irrational by that standard. I just don't think that's what reason is. I don't think reason can be reduced to the form of
okay.
logic.
Well, I'll leave it there.
All right. So we'll go closing arguments.
By the way, this went all over the fucking place.
It did.
But it was a lot of fun.
It did.
Was a lot
It
of
did.
fun.
And I knew you guys kind of wanted to do this, so I was like, all right, we're gonna have to be very loose here with moderation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll turn it to. Well, actually, Andrew, you went first last time, so go ahead. Closing statements.
Don't I
Arguments.
close last if I go first?
Oh yeah, actually, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so
Remember, the conversation
Yeah.
was originally what led to degradation of the United States, and it was communism
Yeah.
versus capitalism originally. So,
yeah. Look, in
and
my
then we'll turn to
view,
the people.
in my view, I think that when we have over $30 trillion in debt, when we have the situation that most Americans find themselves in right now, I think it makes a lot of sense and it's reasonable to assume that debt is the fundamental factor behind America's problems and its decline. And when we look at the root causes of that debt itself, we can find that debt, although it's a consequence of capitalism, was already baked in from the very beginning. Debt is an unforgiving and unyielding commitment to profit at all costs. Holding people to debt is to hold people to a strict standard, which superficially appears as just. You know, we did an exchange, you pledged this to me in exchange for this, but doesn't account for its own fundamental premises. And so debt is a very succinct way to think about the root cause of America's problem and its decline, even though it involves all these other things that are related to it. I think that it's not that I neglect the spiritual and I neglect the religious and the moral, and I think that these things are irrelevant and I'm a dogmatist, economic reductionist. It's just that I don't see how it's justified that these things could be separated from the actual reality by which we exist and reproduce that existence. I don't think we can simultaneously make pretensions to morality and religion and logic and philosophy while simultaneously in the sphere of our actual material existence totally contradicting that. I think they all belong to one common and human reality. So it's not that I neglect the moral and the spiritual. I just see it as fundamentally interrelated with the question, the property question, the economic question. But I think I'll yield the rest of my time.
All right. What about you?
Yeah, so first, thank you, of course, to Fresh and Fit for hosting this, and thank you, Haas, for coming out.
Thank you so much for hosting.
Of course,
Appreciate it.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, I
Hopefully we can hang out
wasn't trying to
tomorrow.
outshine you, bro. I'm just saying.
No, I was meaning to.
I would
and
like to
forgot.
thank you for coming out.
Thank you. Yeah,
I appreciate it. It was a very good debate. So let me tell you from my perspective the points I lost on. So when it came to the idea of what did Stalin do wrong, when it came to materialism, what did he take for himself, you won that point. I think that's the only point you did win. So as we move through the debate, I'll take it kind of point by point. I think when we got into Hegelianism, that you really couldn't give a good accounting for how this moves into communism, self-ownership, autonomy, though that could be multiple debates. I'd also like to say that I don't think you made a great case for why it is that capitalism is inferior to communism morally. You never really could bridge that gap, no matter how many times I asked you or what ways I asked you. So ultimately, Haas, I'm going to concede the points where I did lose, which weren't that many, but I did lose some. But you lost the majority of the points here. I don't really still, right this second, understand exactly what your version of communism is, and I don't understand why it is that it is superior morally to capitalism. I don't even really understand why people should follow it over capitalism. In fact, I'll
We should
kind of
probably
leave
have
the
another
debate.
debate. Honestly, we should have another debate
Yeah, because-
strictly
I'll
on this
kind of leave the
topic
debate
alone.
just with this last point.
No, that's fine.
I don't even really understand the position ultimately, and I want to. I do want to.
Well, I think, we wanted to get into the thing about why the capitalism was more immoral and stuff, but we had to take a break, and then when we came back, the topic changed. I don't think that was my fault that it changed. I would have been happy to get into that if we wanted to.
We need to have a debate only on, and I know that you guys kind of wanted to keep this broad, but we need to have one on capitalism versus communism and stick on that.
I think the difficulty also is the reason I think I prevailed on all of the substantive points is just because for me, a debate is about real issues. It's about the actual world and reality and history we live in here. You said you don't understand what I mean by communism. I was happy to point to real life examples, and you kind of wanted to go more into the territory of hypotheticals. So you're debating only within the narrow field of propositional logic, and I'm trying to debate
I
within
actually wanted to make sure I didn't do that. But, hold
on, because I know you guys are going to debate again.
Yeah, we're not trying to.
This is what we're going to do. We're going to have another one on communism and capitalism only. Yeah. I mean, Haz, if you could stick around in Miami, we could facilitate that before you go. I think it's worth it for you to stay.
I have to be in Chicago on the 30th, 31st, so...
you got some time, bro.
I have some time?
You got some time. It's the 27th.
Okay.
And it's literally, that's Tuesday. So,
okay.
All right, so let's go real quick to the people.
Yeah.
Real fast.
I wonder what they're thinking because, bro, I think you're a vegan. I think you're a meat eater.
No, he's not a vegan.
What do you mean?
No, that was the inference to something else.
Oh.
Debating styles.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. Let's go ahead and who's up next? And guys, raise your hands. Guys, let's try to have the questions be specific to either Haz or Andrew.
Yo, shout out to all the new members though.
Yeah, shout out to all you guys joining the Castle Club.
Shout out to y'all.
Let's go ahead first to No Billy. Go ahead,
Is
man.
that the Crucible crew? Are they all busy joining the Castle Club? Is that what's going on?
Crucible.
We'd be happy to have you guys here. No Billy, go ahead, man.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
No.
So, what's up, man? It's a question for the, was it Haz, I think it is?
Haz, Haz.
Two very quick questions. The first one is, where are you from?
You're asking about my ethnic background. So both my parents
No, where do you live? Like, what country do you live in?
The United States.
Okay, why don't you go live in a communist country?
Yeah, I think it's a kind of ridiculous question because I'm an American communist. That's why. And by the way, the idea that we can just go shopping for whatever country we want to live on based on our preferences is to commodify what a nation is rather than have a fundamental commitment to your people and your nation. You're treating it as you're going to Walmart and you're picking it off the shelf. I reject that.
So if
by the way, even if I did go to a communist country, hold on,
another country where it has
sure. By the way, even if I did do that, this is how stupid your question is. Even if I did do that, okay, who the fuck is my number one op trying to sabotage me building a prosperous society and participating in that? It's America. I'll go to North Korea and I'm sanctioned to the moon by what? By the United States government. I'll go to China. Who's my number one op? The United States government. I'll go to Cuba. Who still has me under the stranglehold of an embargo? The United States of America. So even if I was this kind of cosmopolitan you're talking about who had no national loyalty to my country, it would be in the interests of world communism to fight to bring it here because this is the government that's persecuted communism around the world the most.
Okay. All right. I see your perspective there. All right.
Thanks, bro.
All right. No, Billy.
That was the one you met at.
Yeah. No, I know.
Oh, you know. Okay,
all right. Who's up next? Ali. Yeah. No, Billy. You better have went to the gym, man.
Ali.
All the OGs been holding him accountable too.
All right. What's up, Ali?
Hello.
Yo, we got you, man. What's your question?
What up, Myron?
What up, man?
All right, so I just had a question for Andrew.
All right.
So, how come in every debate he doesn't really have a stance? He just argues the other person's point of view. He doesn't really have a strong stance.
Let's ask Haz. Haz, did I not kind of clarify the entirety of my stance right from my intro? I
feel like every time I tried to ask you your perspective and your view, you kind of were like, no, that's whataboutism. Stick to the yes or no about this.
About which question?
For example, when I asked you about the Orthodox Church and whether there are circumstances in which you would agree that the Orthodox Church made a wrong decision or a bad decision, you wouldn't even entertain it. You wouldn't give me a single concrete example.
I think what you said there was if the Orthodox Church did X, and I just conceded that it's possible.
But no. You said you don't think the gates of hell will ever prevail, so it's not even thinkable.
That was in regards.
So you walled off a hypothetical for your own position. You would not entertain a hypothetical for your position, but somehow I had to entertain what I considered an unreasonable hypothetical for mine.
You agree with me that there's modalities, and inside of modalities, that's what's inclusive to logical possibility. If I asked you, Haz, what would fire be like if it wasn't hot? Could you even answer?
I think that's arbitrary. I think that's totally arbitrary.
Could you answer me then? What would fire be like if it wasn't hot?
No. I don't think you have the liberty of saying this is a kind of analytical truth that the Orthodox Church could never possibly do anything wrong.
The modality of what is logically possible is going to depend on your worldview.
By modality, you're talking about an analytical truth where it's true by virtue of what the thing is.
It's metaphysical.
Okay, so it's true by
Is
virtue of
fire. Could you answer me? What would fire be like if it wasn't hot?
okay, but I could use the same argument that there's an analytical
Yeah, and it would be
truth that
fucking incoherent, so I would reject it.
well, why isn't yours incoherent? Why do you
because
get to
why
do
it's
you get
only
to why do you get to
possible within the
literally
modality?
But why do you literally get to define things that are inherently true as far as the nature of the word itself, but I can't?
Because you would have to create for me
Yeah.
a contrary position where you said, no, this is logically possible but you can't because
Why is it
hang on,
logically
but you can't because inside of your modality, you say all of these things here are what are logically possible based on my secular ideology. Which, by the way, now I know isn't secular, but is based on Islam.
How about this?
I
Andrew,
don't-
can you, because he's trying to say that you, I guess he's trying to say that you don't actually debate them, you just...
Well, yeah,
What's
what I was trying to say, I was watching the debate against you and the Muslim guy on Sneako's stream, and you weren't arguing for
Lantern.
Christianity. You were just, to be honest, you were just attacking Islam. You were insulting the Prophet Muhammad and all that.
Oh,
You
yeah,
weren't
yeah.
like,
Hey, I'll leave.
like,
I'll
you
leave.
weren't even defending your own religion.
Can I
you were
ask
just
you?
trying to
Can I ask you a question?
downplay Islam.
All right,
Can I ask
Ali, he
you-
has a question for you.
Can
Go
I
ahead.
ask you a question? Just a really basic
Yes.
question.
Yes.
Does Christianity have anything to do with Islam?
Well, the debate was Christianity
Yeah,
versus
sir,
Islam.
does Christianity have anything to do with Islam? Yes or no?
Well, yeah.
Okay, what does it have to do with Islam?
Well, Muslims believe that there is some truth in the Bible, that the Bible, in some way, does have some truth to it and was sent by God, but
Okay.
was then corrupted.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So Muslims are
Oh,
Christians?
no, not the Bible, but some stuff in the
so
Bible.
Muslims are Christians?
I'm sorry?
Muslims are Christians?
No.
Okay,
I never
great.
said
So
that.
then what does Christianity have to do with Islam? If I ask you for an Islamic position, what does it have to do with Christianity?
Because the debate was Islam versus Christianity.
Okay, so let us pretend for a second that I was going to convert to Islam. I'm going to convert to Islam, let's say. Can I ask you questions about the Islamic faith and you tell me the answer without pointing at Christianity? Could you do that?
There's a big problem. There's a big problem.
Hang on.
So
Can you
will
answer my
say
question
this
before I answer
person
yours?
in Islam is a pedophile.
Yeah.
And then
Can you answer my
and then
question,
they will say,
though?
but this person in the
It's all
Bible is a
just
pedophile.
whataboutism, dude.
And then you'll say that has nothing to do with anything.
So let's start again.
Like,
Let's assume for a second that I want to convert to Islam, but I
Correct.
have a bunch of questions. I'm not a Christian. I want to convert to Islam, let's say.
okay.
If I ask you questions, will you answer them without pointing at Christianity?
Yeah.
Okay,
but
great. So let us
That's
assume,
not what you were
hang on.
doing.
Let us
You were,
pretend. Hang on. Let us pretend right now that's the paradigm, okay? We're just going to pretend it. Right this second. Did Muhammad fuck a 9-year-old girl?
Yes.
Is that pedophilia?
Well, in the context, this was thousands of years ago, where life expectancy was way lower. Why is it funny?
Nothing.
I don't understand why is it funny. I'm explaining it to you.
Okay.
Life expectancy was way lower
Mhm.
because that was times of war,
Mhm.
and age wasn't really a concept, right? It was
Age
more
wasn't a
about
concept?
maturity. When they see that a woman physically matured, then
Mhm.
that's when they thought they were ready to be married.
Hmm.
They didn't, and he didn't like prey on her. Like what
Hmm.
it was. It was
So what is a pedophile?
Well, it's totally different now, brother.
What is a pedophile?
A pedophile. Well, we're in America. We're in the United States, correct? So that would be
Just tell
anyone
me from
under
your
18.
view. I don't care what your view is. Just tell me what it is from your view. What is a pedophile?
Well, I live in the United States of America, so a pedophile is someone who has sex with someone who's under 18. That is okay.
Nope, that's not a pedophile. That's a hebephile. A pedophile in the United States of America is somebody who's attracted to prepubescent children, right? That would be a pedophile.
No, it's about the action. It's not about the attraction. Like you can think about murder, but if you don't murder someone, you're not a murderer.
Yeah, okay. So what makes you gay?
As if you have sex with guys.
What if you're just really attracted to a guy and want to have sex with him but don't? Are you gay?
I don't know, bro. You tell me.
Yeah, I'm asking you. If you really want to suck a guy's dick, caller, but you don't, are you a faggot or not?
This is
I'm
different,
not sure.
bro. It's different.
Well,
That's
I think
totally
about
different.
sucking men's dick all the time,
Totally
Andrew.
different,
But
bro.
I don't do it, so I'm not a
that's
faggot, right,
retarded
caller?
example. That's a retarded example.
Oh, okay, caller. So can you answer my question? Caller, if you want to suck a man's cock but you don't,
Oh,
are
brother.
you a
Hey,
faggot
this is
or not,
exactly
caller?
what you did in the debate.
You're still not
versus
answering the
Muslim
question,
Nation. Once
caller.
your logic gets
Caller,
destroyed,
if you
just
want to
start
suck a
doing
man's
and saying
cock but you
random
don't,
facts
caller,
and shit.
are you a faggot, caller?
No, I'm not a faggot, sir.
Okay, so what makes you a faggot? Only the action? Not wanting? So wanting to fuck a man up the ass doesn't make you gay? I just want to make sure we got this clear.
I don't know where your mind's been at, brother.
Are you going to
I don't
answer
know
my
what to tell you.
question?
All right, what about if someone
What
thinks
about
about
what?
murder?
Answer my fucking
all right,
question.
All right, let me challenge your logic.
Yeah, answer my question, then
if
give me the
someone
question.
thinks about murder
Answer my
every
question,
single
then
day,
give me
but
the
never
question.
actually murders anyone, is that a murderer? or
Bro,
not?
no, you're not a murderer. That's
Why?
Because there's a distinction between the action and the merits of the thing. Now, back to this.
All right, so if you don't
Back to
fucking get it,
this.
then you're not
Hang
gay.
on, hang on.
All
Back,
right, then.
back
Thank
to
you.
this. If you daydream about fucking a man up the ass and it makes you get off,
You're getting
are
very
you a
descriptive.
faggot or not?
Why are you bringing up this crazy
Would
example?
you just answer the question like I just did yours?
No, you're not gay. 'cause
Okay,
you didn't commit any homosexual
gotcha.
acts.
Okay. That's all I need. If you can dream all day about fucking men up the ass, but you're not gay, I'll
Nah,
just
I
let
don't
that
think
stand.
about that, bro. I don't know about you, my friend.
Yeah,
but
but hypothetically, you just said that that's fine. That's
I
not
didn't
gay.
say that it's fine. You just bring up the
Well,
most
what
extreme
makes it?
example.
Is it gay or not gay to daydream about fucking men up the ass?
Bro, we're not talking about gay or not gay. I don't know.
I'm talking about it. What are you
Why- all
gay
right, why are
if you
why are we
daydream
talking
about fucking
gays?
a man
I
up the
brought up
ass?
why
Bro,
do you always
you're not. I just answered your question in good faith. You want to answer mine?
Recording in progress.
So I don't know what to do with you. I don't know
They
what
are
to do
not
if you
gay.
refuse to answer my questions
They
when I
never
answer yours. Okay,
committed
ask me a
any
question,
homosexual acts.
but you got to promise that you'll answer mine after I answer yours. Is that fair?
I just answered your question.
Okay. So you're not gay if you daydream all day long about fucking a man up the ass.
But why won't you answer my question?
Are you
about
going to
the
answer
murder?
mine first? I just want a yes or no.
Brother?
Yes
I
or
think
no?
personally, in my view, I think that is gay as hell.
Yeah.
But you can't say that the person is gay because they didn't.
So if you were to daydream, if you were to daydream about fucking children, are you a pedophile?
No, you never committed
Oh,
any
okay.
pedophilic
Well then,
acts.
you're
Bro,
incoherent, caller.
It's different answers for every different example. Like, it's different.
That's incoherent to say that you would be gay because you daydream about fucking men up the ass all day, but you would not be a pedophile if you daydreamed of fucking children all day. That's incoherent.
Brother, everything you say is contradictory because you only
No,
attack
I'm the
Islam,
one who's
when
engaged
they
in
flip it
contradictory.
around to you and the same things happen in your religion, you just say, but we're not talking about my religion.
We're not.
We're talking about
It's
yours.
an argument from hypocrisy. It's fallacious. It's what stupid people do. It makes no sense. And I just demonstrated how ridiculous your logic is. You just got done telling me that if you daydream about fucking children all day, you're not a pedophile. But if you daydream about fucking men all day, you're gay. And you will never be able to reconcile that position. Go ahead and try. I'll wait. I'll literally wait while you reconcile that position.
All right, we'll move
So,
on.
all right, let's get down
Ali,
to the
Ali,
plan,
Ali,
bro.
we
So,
can
what are you
move on,
trying?
brother?
Ali,
Yeah.
we'll move on because there's a lot of hands up, bro. I'd love to
All
let
right,
you
hey,
keep
I
debating.
love Fresh and Fit. Hey, man, I'm in Castle Club and I met you guys in person. You guys are cool people, man. I fuck with y'all.
By the way, Ali,
Appreciate
I
that.
appreciate the convo, even if it didn't go great, right? But do
For
appreciate
sure,
it.
bro.
And bro, that is gay, bro.
All right, let's go to next phone. Next iPhone.
That's pretty gay.
13 Pro Max. Now we know what model he has. Go ahead, Nick's iPhone.
Oh, that's my phone. 13 Pro.
Oh.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you, bro.
Yeah, we
Hit
got
us with
you.
your question or comment.
Yeah. First of all, Myron, this has got to be like bar none one of the best debates you've had. So props to you, man. This has been a great show. I joined
We might
Castle
do another
Club
one
just to
on-
get in on the backside of this.
Thank you so much. We might do another one on communism and capitalism just because, we'll talk. We'll try to get Haas to stay longer. But go ahead, bro. What's your question for the?
Yeah.
for
This has
the
been a
guys?
great show. So this is a little bit of pushback to both of you. I might have missed because I had to join Castle Club, so I might have missed if you read super chats or not. I sent in a super chat. You guys were both kind of referencing the hockey shaped population graph, right? That starts right about 1850. And kind of what neither of you correlated is that's also the discovery and the implementation of oil, right? En masse. And the relative output
were
of
you the one who
one
put in
barrel
that,
of oil.
were you the one who put in that super chat that said 100x? What the
Yeah,
energy was?
115.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I missed it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Joining Castle Club. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So what you end up with is an extremely inefficient, but regardless, population explosion because we've wasted a lot of that labor potential, like on Amazon Prime, right? 2-day delivery. But that's the reason you have a massive population growth, because otherwise, over history, there's only one other event that we can even see the population change, and that's the Black Plague, right? Where a huge portion of the population dies off. Otherwise, it's like a very small incline. Now, I would offer a criticism to Has. Sorry, I don't want to mess up your name.
Haas.
When you addressed capitalism, you said specifically that it serves the almighty dollar, which is sort of true, but you didn't address the fact that capitalism has to serve the ability to produce tomorrow's dollar, right? So capitalism isn't about starting a company, building it up like Myron's show, and selling it immediately to cash out in the moment, because tomorrow there will be no dollars. Capitalism would crash instantly. Right. So by definition, capitalism has to have a stabilizing function. Right. And we could argue that just like you argued, communism stabilizes a society, that capitalism requires the stabilization of its capitalism in order to stay around. Otherwise, it just dies.
Sure. So I'll just go in reverse order, actually. Thank you for your question. I would say regarding capitalism, this presumes that the capitalist system is rational. But I would argue, and Marx argued, and communists historically have argued, that the capitalist system endangers its own destruction and collapse through crisis. And this has happened multiple times in history. In the late 19th century with the Long Depression, we all know about 1929 and the Great Depression. We know about 71, we know about 2008. There's multiple points in the history of capitalism in which the system simply collapsed because it precisely could not do what you referred, which is account for tomorrow's dollar. Capitalism devastates and destroys the very premises by which it itself, people are themselves able to pursue profit, by which profit can be acquired. It does this through devastating the means of production. It does this because it lacks the recognition of what makes it itself possible. So what we see is the government multiple times throughout history having to bail capitalism out in a non-capitalist way. Every time in which capitalism has entered crisis, the ruling class has utilized socialist methods to bail themselves out. And this is why capitalism still exists that we can even speak of. Not because of capitalism, which collapsed multiple times through crisis, but because of the opposite. Regarding your second point, just briefly I'll make a remark. I agree oil is a fundamental factor, obviously. But the very paradigm by which abstract energy was sought in abstraction, right, from its real instantiation. It's just that we're pursuing and looking for resources that can supply the energy. That predated the discovery of oil. We had the steam engine, right? And this was
we had it, but it doesn't mathematically compare at all. You're talking about an exponential function.
Only when we already had industrial capitalism and the steam engine, which is pursuing energy in abstraction from its actual instantiation to make things work, right, in indirect ways, that opened up the very inquiry and the very need for oil. Like, we found oil, it's not a coincidence, only after industrial capitalism, because it was only possible to regard energy in the way that we did because of things that preceded oil. So I would just say that.
Well, and
sure, you're saying that there was an existing technology necessary to dive into
not just
oil.
Technology, but there was an existing mode of production, so to speak, right? Industrial capitalism that was necessary for oil to have been discovered in the first place.
I mean, I think that's a bit presumptuous. That's like saying that we couldn't have discovered it without the steam engine, when in fact it wasn't a steam engine that discovered the utility of oil. The drilling of black oil, for instance, is an evolution of whale oil. So clearly we were using a much more inefficient version of oil.
We were
very similar processes.
We were trying to find resources that would power the things we want to power in more efficient ways. And that paradigm came from the steam engine and industrial capitalism.
I mean, sort of, but so we didn't go looking for black oil to go, gee, we need a better energy source. We happened upon black oil, as we've happened upon a great
Well,
many
we
things,
were looking for
penicillin,
better
instance,
energy sources.
where we said, hey, this turned out to be pretty cool, but in no way was anybody
We
setting
were
out to go, gee, we need a better version
No,
of
we
whale oil.
definitely were looking for new energy sources. I mean, the whole science of, thermodynamics and electromagnetism and all this was closely related to the development and innovation of energy technologies and stuff. So we definitely were looking for the energy, and, we found it.
So I'd end, if I have a brief third moment, shifting directions to Andrew. Now, I want to be clear. I am not a Muslim, and whatever 9-year-olds, that's all just absolutely ridiculous and awful. But simply to take a devil's advocate to argue the position for the sake of being complete, is it possible that we could look at the timelines in the Quran, the Bible, etc., and say, gee, they don't seem to always use the same definition of linear timeline. So when they say a day in the Bible, they've sometimes meant more than a day or less than a day. And I don't know at all the verses in the Quran, but I know several times that it references that a length of time is actually equal to 1,000 of your days or our days or whatever. So when we say Muhammad as I believe, 50, 55-year-old, whatever he is, and I don't even remember the girl's name, the 9-year-old, is it possible that we could look at the story as a metaphor to be the most possible?
No. Well, and I'll explain why not.
Sure.
So Islam is really interesting because it's a lot like Protestantism in the way that they kind of exegete their own text, though they may not call it exegesis. They interpret it through the idea of scholars, and scholars kind of set the precedent for what is or is not true within Islam. The scholar consensus that I have seen, and that most of the Muslims thus far that I've engaged with, is that this girl was 9 years old. If they were to make the claim, no, she was not, I would be willing to engage with that argument. But for instance, in the argument with Muslim Lantern, he was very specific that she was. Right?
Right. So my argument isn't to the definition of how we refer to her as a 9-year-old.
Yeah, so
it's to whether or not the secondary definition of physical maturity.
I just want to directly address this. If it were so that his argument was she was not 9, she was something else, and she was like 25, and she means 25 the same way that we do, then I would have engaged with that argument on the paradigm of that argument. Does that make sense?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
To be clear, I think the argument is better made that the secondary definition that I don't remember the gentleman's name, Prophet Muhammad, that you had the not so sneako debate with.
Yeah. Muslim Lantern.
Didn't illuminate much.
No, it didn't illuminate much. I agree. I think that Haas
but if he had simply said,
much better
"Hey, the secondary definition is actually the primary," that this 9-year-old or whatever her name is, Alyssa, Carissa, whatever, she's physically mature.
Sure.
And the numerical definition was actually the incorrect, or was being interpreted incorrectly, and we don't have a good definition of what that means, because there are several different places in the Quran where a day is referred to in a different quantity. So, hey, 1 day is 3 months, and then a second spot in the Quran says, well, 1 day is 1,000 of your days.
Or whatever, right?
Who's up next? Jake the Mullet, and then we'll finish off with Kaz.
Jake.
All right, Jake the Mullet, go ahead, man.
Shout out Jake the Mullet.
Go ahead, Jake.
An OG.
OG in the house.
I just wanted to say this is an amazing debate. I can't wait for the second part of this, and I just wanted to give a shout out to all the OGs in the chat.
Shout out to you, bro. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for supporting.
Yeah, thank you, Colin.
Of course.
Make sure you subscribe also to Andrew Wilson and Haas. Where are you mostly on nowadays?
X.
Rumble? X? Okay. Go follow him on X.
You can find me on YouTube.
Yep, and The Crucible. Who's up next? Is it Andrew W?
Andrew W.
Okay, another Andrew W. Go ahead, man.
Hey guys,
Yo.
I just want to say I've been watching your show for a long time, and I appreciate everything that you guys are doing for guys out there. And also, I like some of the new directions you're going in as far as political commentary, the debates, everything like that. I'm huge on working out. I strongly advocate for that, so I'm happy to see you always pushing that out there. Gym 5 times a week, guys. It's the best for you. And Andrew, I'm studying for the LSAT, so I like a lot of the stuff that you use, the logic, all that kind of stuff. I watch your channel as well, so shout out to all you guys, and thank you for the opportunity.
All right,
Thanks,
man. You better be
thanks for
subscribed.
being a viewer, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, your boy Lem, go ahead. Your boy Lem, go ahead. You're unmute yourself.
Oh, hey,
oh shit.
How you doing, Myron?
Yo, what's up, man?
I'm good, man. The debate was interesting, man. I just came here to to tell you that you have a couple of haters on TikTok, man. I kind of I sent the screenshot.
We all have haters on TikTok.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is, he said he wanted to fight you in person, but I told him like, hey, you know what? Why don't you go to their make a call on their live show and tell that to him through the phone?
You mean that kid?
Tell him to meet him face to face, but he never responded back.
You mean
Who are
that
you
kid,
talking
bro?
about?
You mean that kid?
Yeah, no. There's another kid on. I sent you. I sent it on the. I sent it to you on the super chat.
What?
Jack Doherty?
It was a
Jack Doherty
screenshot.
what?
No, not Jack Doherty, but someone who commented under that.
It's actually right here. Actually, I'm gonna show the screenshot right here. I got the screenshot right here.
But either way, bro, I mean,
I don't even know.
We're not
what-
fighting kids, bro.
Well, I'm confused. I don't even know.
No,
what
right
you're
here. It's
talking about.
it's called Joker for Life.
Oh, the comment.
That was his name on Instagram.
So someone made a post, but
I think you can see it right there, Joker for Life. That was him. And then there's another guy that says, "I will humble Myron." That's what it says on the.
yeah, but I mean, bro,
Bro, you know I get hundreds of death threats a day, bro.
yeah, that's nothing, bro.
For real? Oh shit.
Yeah, man. I don't give a fuck about these random idiots on the internet, bro. There's a reason why a lot of them.
Nothing new, bro.
This is like everyday shit, man. I'm not gonna waste my time talking to some
caller,
fucking
so
idiots.
that you know, for every 100 live viewers you have, you can make the safe assumption that at least 5 of them are fucking lunatics.
Yep.
Okay, so let's quantify that by 100. So if you are to have 5,000 or 10,000, or in Myron's case, many times 20,000 live viewers, that's a lot of fucking lunatics, right?
Yeah, very much.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just looking out for y'all, man, because I fuck with y'all show, man. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
no,
saying?
man. I
Like,
mean, bro, I get hate on. I've been getting hate on TikTok since 2020, man. When I got banned on there the first time, you got to understand that most of the people on these social media platforms are liberal faggots, and they're gonna say stupid shit. But yeah, dude, people talk shit about me all the time, saying that they're gonna fucking do X, Y, Z. They don't do anything because they typically are internet, keyboard warriors, man. So that's, bro, this is everyday shit, man.
Also, they say that, but they won't. Do
I just let you know, because you guys are my family, man. You know what I mean?
No, I appreciate you letting me know, man. But yeah, dude, I get death threats every single day, bro. Every
By
single
the way,
day.
I just want to let you know, caller, I've heard Haas say faggot. I've heard it, Haas. I've heard you say faggot.
Yeah, I've said
I've heard
faggot.
you say faggot, Haas.
I've said it publicly.
And it's the funnest word in the English language
Yeah.
to say, isn't it?
But all right,
Yeah.
Lem, thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you.
Okay, Rohit.
Thank you so much,
good
man,
day.
for letting us know. But yeah, man, it's everyday shit. These weirdo haters. We got Rohit next. Go ahead, man.
Hey, am I unmuted?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
can
are.
hear you.
Hey, perfect. So just one thing for Andrew, I want to recommend an article on Substack, Richard Poe, how the British created communism and blamed the Jews. That's a good read. And for Haas, I want to ask a question. Why do you still cling to the label of communism when even your philosophical inspirations like Dugin and so forth have rejected it? I'm a Eurasianist myself. I prefer fourth political theory. Why do you still cling to communism as label?
Yes, because I forgive Dugin for his rejection of communism, because Dugin's acquaintance with communism was the late Soviet period of the dogmatism of the Soviet establishment. But Dugin himself has professed an openness of perspective to the Chinese Marxism-Leninism. The Sino-Soviet split was the distinction that led the USSR and China to go on diverging paths in terms of their development of communism. And the Soviet China had a cultural revolution, a renewed enthusiasm and belief in the communist cause. And then the Soviet Union in its later development was subject to kind of cynicism. You know, Khrushchev's denunciation of Stalin destroyed the morale, and the society kept getting subverted by Western-backed opposition, and the ruling party no longer even believed in it. You know, so this was the context of Dugin's. I mean, in Dugin's experience, it was the Communist Party of the Soviet Union that dissolved the Soviet Union. You know, they were unable to adapt. So I forgive him for
going back to what Andrew said. Like, why do you think it dissolved? And what Dugin would say is because there's no spiritual aspect, no traditions, no morals that were part of that Soviet system. So there's both. I agree with both of you in certain aspects, right? You have to look at the material conditions, and you also have to have a spiritual basis. And it has to be a synthesis of both.
Well, I would compare it to China. Why did the Soviet Union dissolve and China did not? Because China had the Cultural Revolution. China
and the West backed China and sent all their manufacturing there.
The Chinese had the 10-year-long Cultural Revolution even before the reform and opening up. And this is what allowed the system to become as resilient as it was. Because
but when were people lifted out of poverty in China, though? That was after the neoliberal reforms.
No, poverty alleviation began under Mao, actually. Mao created the national industrial system that made the reform and opening up possible in the first place.
That's true, yeah.
All right.
Who's up next?
Okay, we got up next. Let's see here.
Angel is up next. Go ahead, Angel. Get your hands up now, guys, before we close this thing out. If you got questions for Haas or for Andrew Wilson.
Can you guys hear me?
Go ahead.
All right. Well, thanks for having me. I'm a huge fan, guys. Appreciate it. It's late over here in Colorado. Andrew. This goes back to the whole Muslim lantern.
Andrew's not here yet, man. He went to the bathroom. He's coming back though. You got something? Actually, okay. He's back. He's back. Here, let him put his headphones on, then you can ask your question. Go ahead.
Actually, it wasn't a statement. I mean, it's not much of a question. It's more of a statement going back to that debate.
Okay.
Because he's getting critiqued a lot, you know? Oh, well, how come, you didn't allow Lantern to bring up Christianity? I want to point something out. Andrew, he stated the terms when he was speaking to Sneeko.
Correct.
And then he stated the terms when Lantern came onto the show for the debate. Sneeko agreed, and so did Lantern, Muslim Lantern. So the reason why that debate went south was because Lantern didn't stick to the terms, and the moderator didn't force Lantern to stick to those terms.
Now listen.
So putting aside,
hang on, caller. These people are not here to defend themselves. But I do agree with you. What happened there was just this. The same reason that I told Haas, it's your turn to do an internal critique. Though I'm not actually sure it turned into an internal critique, but it was his turn to do one. Is so that I can respond from my worldview, and he has an opportunity to do that without having his worldview assaulted. Instead of me going, but what about you? But what about you? But what about you? I actually just am forced to answer from my perspective and only from my perspective. And so our agreement was I would do that for the Trinity if he would do that for the Islamic age of consent from his worldview, which I thought was totally fair since the Trinity, I think, is a much harder position to defend. And if I had to choose between the two, I would pick the Trinity or the age of consent to defend over the Trinity. I mean,
right? No, and maybe I explained it incorrectly, but that was the point of how some individuals misinterpret it as saying, "Oh, you didn't want to talk about the Trinity," and it's not that you didn't want to. You did, but first you wanted to point out the Muslim part, right?
Yeah, well,
and have him defend that position, and then you're going to move into the Christian part.
So I think that what would have happened if I had started with the Trinity is that I would have defended it, and I would have done it in good faith. And then when we got to the Islamic part where they had to defend, he would have done exactly what he did. And so that's why I wanted to start there to make sure that he would adhere to the rules of the debate. He didn't. Like, clearly right away, he didn't.
Yeah, he did it.
Yeah.
And that's all I wanted to point out, because they want to bring up, well, you don't want to defend Christianity. No, it's not that. It's not about Christianity. It's not about It's not about the 9-year-old
I did want
or
to
you know
defend
the fighting Spanish.
Christianity.
It's about the stated terms.
No, I actually absolutely want to defend Christianity, and only from the Christian paradigm, and from the topic that we agreed I would defend it from.
Yeah, and that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge fan, Andrew. Fresh and fit. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you the same thing I tell everybody.
Thank you for showing up for the debate. You guys have a good one.
It's my privilege to have fans, not your privilege to be one. So thank you very much.
All right, we got yeah, I know they're making fun of. Okay, we got Kaz up next. Go ahead, Kaz.
Let's go.
Go ahead, Kaz.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
I want to say, appreciate this W stream, and Andrew and Haz, y'all hilarious. Myron, you doing a great job. Fresh, you doing a great job, man. I hope y'all can keep up the good work and this W content. And that's about it. And I hope you guys have a great night. And don't stay up too late because I was supposed to been sleep.
All right, we'll go to sleep now, man. You might have the responsibilities tomorrow. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you, bro.
Let's go to Soy Domenico and then Rico. We got you, Rico.
Soy Dominicano, coño.
All right, go ahead. Soy Dominicano.
Hey, just a quick question for Haz.
Yeah.
Are you a Jew?
No, but
complete opposite.
I'm a Semite though because my parents are from South Lebanon, so I'm Lebanese, and I guess it's close to where the Jews came from, right?
Okay. I just want to
confirm. He's a real Semite, unlike these Ashkenazi Jews.
Oh my.
All right, Rico's up next. Go ahead, Rico.
What's up, everybody? Hope y'all having a great night. I just want to get in here short and sweet.
Hang on, Rico. Before you say anything, just by looking at you, I just want to know an answer to one question. Are you a former jarhead?
Am I a former what?
Jarhead. Marine.
Marine.
Everyone asks me if I'm in the military, but no.
Oh, okay.
I know a thing or two, but I'm not in the military.
I don't know. You just have that window licker look around. I'm kidding.
Oh my god.
This guy.
Go ahead, bro. Go. I'm just teasing you. Man.
Hey, man. Some people just love the taste of Windex. You know what I'm saying? But real quick, I just want to get in here because one of the things Colt Rainville, the regional general for the East Coast, he told me that I was a shit speaker, and I made it my mission to get better at it.
Okay.
And after the last Zoom call, a lot of you motherfuckers suck at speaking. So fucking work on that, please, for everyone. We'd appreciate that. That's pretty much it.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, guys, some of you guys get nervous when you get on the Zoom call.
man.
Like, just write down what you want to say, guys. It helps so much. I do that all the time with my debates. So there's nothing wrong with writing stuff down, guys, before you say it. You know what I mean? I like to write it out because writing it out is more personable than, texting it out on a phone. Helps me, really internalize it more. But I think that's it, guys. That's the end of the discussion and the Zoom call. I don't think we have anybody else. Guys, we're going to be live tomorrow. We're going to do
the news, FNF
Fresh Fit News. Andrew Wilson's definitely going to be here. We're going to try to talk Haz into staying and kidnap him. And then if we can, we'll have another communist slash. It will be more
back for the news tomorrow.
Communism and capitalism
I'll
debate.
try.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Do it, dude. It's crazy exposure. Just do it. Don't be gay. What else do we got here? Okay, we got Mr. Haz is not as familiar with Russian history as he claims. He's completely leaving out the historical claims of the dark history. The historical Gulag Museum in Moscow is a proof of the unintended consequences of communism in the 20th century, not even mentioning the CCP re-education camps. Andrew, we have some Russian chocolates and vodka for you, comrade. Keep up the open dialogue, broski.
Hey, thanks.
You have anything you want to say back to that? I don't think we went into that, but
I'll be
I
quick.
am drinking vodka.
I'll say after the 1990s, a bunch of foreign capitalists came and spread a bunch of bullshit propaganda, because one of the ways you destroy a state is you destroy their history and demoralize it.
Okay.
And this is what they did in the Soviet Union, and that museum is a relic of that.
Okay. Haz just mentioned Ivan the Terrible as the example. Russian chocolates for everyone. LOL. All right. Mr. Haz, rep, I think means respect for bringing up the debt issue, which is important. Dave Ramsey is a good start towards this topic. Marxism is 100% not a good solution for this issue. Bravo for getting Going head-to-head against the master debater. Hopefully FNF open more debates regarding complex issues. Keep up the good work, broskies. Don't worry, we will have one on capitalism versus communism. Don't worry, fripples. Truth is, it's impossible to see any side as 100% perfect. Capitalism turns a blind eye to the lower system. Without poor people, rich will cease to exist. Same the other way around. Let's not forget that there will always be a few countries with wealth and the rest will be working for the top countries. But at least capitalism gives a fighting chance. Them boys can be trusted.
Yeah, I think me and Haas would actually agree to the point that, perhaps no system can be perfect. He would say communism can't be perfect, and I would even say capitalism can't be perfect. But we could still look at what is preferable to humanity as far as one system over the other, even if they're not perfect systems. I think he would even agree that that's true.
Yeah, I don't think perfection is possible by human beings at all, you know.
All right.
So,
what do we got
That
here?
is the truth.
I've noticed that Haas often refers to the worldview of us and them. For example, that Americans are unfamiliar with philosophical ideals. Historically, Western societies participate in modern philosophy. 2 + 2 = 4, comrade. Okay, that's from Joesh. Then we got Not Sure Joe says, I appreciate FNF for hosting this debate. Andrew has ironclad logic and credence that you really can't argue with. He has testicular fortitude for debating Andrew, though. Both class acts.
Yeah, I really appreciate Haas coming in. Again, I remember years ago when Haas was doing warfare on Twitch, and it was a lot of fun to watch. He's a good entertainer. There's no two ways about that, whether I like his politics or not. That's why I actually wanted him to come in and represent communism, as I feel like he's the best representation that they do have for communism.
Okay.
I appreciate
Anybody
it.
else?
Thank you.
All right, we're caught up. So, guys, we're going to go get some food because we're starving.
Yeah.
But we will be back tomorrow night.
Oh, we got some more?
We got a one word from our sponsor. We're going to close out, guys. But we'll be back tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Andrew and then potentially Haas if he stays. And we'll be covering the news. And Wednesday, Andrew will also be here and we'll have some girls. And we're also going to drop the Dan Bilzerian interview probably on Wednesday afternoon.
Nice.
So, love you guys. Go watch all the streams that we did and obviously watch this one back as well. We'll catch you guys in a little bit. But yeah, Mo, go ahead.
Go ahead, Mo.
Take it away. Close out the show.
This episode is sponsored by Positive.
Yeah.
If you have a dog, we've all been waiting. We've all been there. Our pup goes from full of energy to sick and miserable in an instant, and at the worst times. Then we're calling the vets in the middle of the night or on the weekends, trying to find a clinic that will take us in. It's a terrible way to manage your dog's health, not to mention your stress levels and your monthly budget. That's why you and your monthly budget, you should have a pet emergency kit by Positive. It contains critical medications and supplies and can not only keep you out the veterinary office, but it may even save your dog's life. Their kits contain critical medications like activated charcoal, styptic powder, and more. It might save your dog's life. So head over to positive.com and use the code to get 15% off your pet emergency kit. And thank you, Positive, for sponsoring this episode. And we will see you guys tomorrow. You guys have a good one. Take it easy. Peace.